Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another Starcraft 2 broadcast. My name is Anaris, and today we are here watching VortiX spawn as the Zerg in the bottom left-hand position. His opponent, WhiteRa, spawning as the Protoss in the top right. This is the second game in the best of three from these players who actually played this on Saturday. January 29th, I believe, and it is from the Champions Trophy tournament, so pretty excited about that. Grand prize is $250. Both players who make it to the Grand Final Series receive each a killer 2100 network card. So these guys are playing for some decent stuff here, as we have WhiteRa. And, you know, he didn't actually scout with that first probe. You'll see that a lot of times in this map. Sometimes, you know, on smaller maps, you'll scout with the probe that builds the gateway. But myself, I prefer to scout with the pylon one, just because there's such a long distance between the two players' bases. And you can see that kind of right here, going up here through the natural expansion. Got this big chasm in the middle of the map here as well. Overlord is slowly making its way up here to the Nexus. Probably have a drone heading out, and there's the probe right there heading out, so we are going to see it head out after building the gateway. That's not too uncommon there as well. Like I said, it's just personal preference for this map. It's just so freaking long. That's what she said. And like, you got the gas going down right here. Could probably have some speedlings coming right off the bat for VortiX. That would be a very common play here on Xel'Naga Caverns. Again, just gets back to how long how long the distance is between the two players' bases. So there's that probe checking for that expansion. That expansion caused a lot of difficulty for WhiteRa in game number 1. If you have not already seen that, go to my channel right now. Stop this video, go to my channel, check it out. It's a good game. Took place on Lost Temple. Had a lot of back and forth action there. Had some good drops, had some good pressure, fantastic force fields, and spoiler alert, one of these players came out on top and came with the victory. So keep your eye on that. See what these players are going to do here in game number 2. Got a cybernetics core going down for WhiteRa, sitting on 1 gas. If he's going to go with similar build from what he did in game number 1, he'll probably drop that shortly before the cybernetics core is complete. Did see a 2-gate robo build last time. Those force fields, man, they were just so sexy there in the beginning. Like I said, if you haven't watched that, definitely go check it out. Alright, so yeah, we did have a couple tournaments take place over the weekend, North America, Europe. Pretty exciting stuff, actually. Had a lot of good games. I'm looking to cast the semifinals and the grand finals. Going to put those over on SK's website, and I'm also going to take some of the more interesting games from the quarterfinals and whatnot, throw those up on YouTube as well, just because they're pretty darn funny. There's one game with Naniwa, and he did like a mass proxy pylon push, which worked. it definitely worked, and yeah, it was a pretty entertaining game. Had a lot of lulls in that. And right now, this Overlord actually might... got a bunch of Zerglings going down here. I was going to say it might go down. The Zerglings are going for a surround on the Stalker. Zealot was not able to sit beside it, so it might go down. Oh man, it is so very close, and it does go down! There goes a lot of resources right in the early game for WhiteRa. 125 minerals, 50 gas down the drain, while the Zerglings are actually just going to go right up to the Nexus and attack that. Alright. Now that is a juicy target right there. That sentry, if that can go down, that's really going to hurt him. Oh, will it go down? Oh, so close. 8 hit points on that sentry. Oh, that was very close there. That would have been a pretty big hit. You know, it's just a small amount, 100 gas, but this early in the game, that, you know, every bit matters. You never know, man. That could cascade into something way bigger down the line. So we got VortiX down here, throwing down the Roach Warren, running off of 1 gas, plenty enough for that. As his expansion has just completed, also dropping down a creep tumor there. There's a little bit longer of a distance between the two bases, so got to make sure you can get that out. So there's that pylon for WhiteRa. That is very indicative of the expansion going down. A couple Zerglings have spotted that very early for its building time there. Came in right as soon as it went down. So now Zerg knows that WhiteRa is going to have that expansion. Might see a forge go down with the gateway, maybe a couple photon cannons somewhere. That would be one of the more common strategies that you'll see for securing a expansion like that. kind of create an arc of buildings where you have like the forge here, gateway, maybe something else right here, and then you got a cannon or two right here, and you kind of keep your tech buildings right here. See that a lot. I actually saw that a lot in the tournament. Did see a few of the games had the same builds, but there was some variety there too. So WhiteRa is moving out with his forces. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be the best decision. The reason I say that is because he's got the expansion down here, but not only is it complete, but he's mining off of it. He's got a lot of resources coming from that. There's a nice sandwich there with the roaches, 2 of them going down instantly. Zerglings are going around the chasm, getting a surround. Will they be able to take out any of those forces? I'm not too sure. The Stalker definitely going to go down, as the roaches are pushing away the Stalkers. That one instead got a couple more warping in, but I think we're going to see the Zerg player hold this off. Like I said, he's got this expansion up, he's able to run off of 2 hatcheries, 2 queens, and he's got that income, which you see right now is really good. He's running 28 harvesters, but 1,000. He's only mining off of 1 gas, and that's really all you need right now. Queen does go down, so that is going to hurt production just a little bit. There are eggs in the hatchery, though. More zealots are being warped in. WhiteRa just cannot keep up with this pressure, I'll tell you. That expansion, you know, if the attack had just come a couple minutes earlier, it would have worked out completely differently. But we're about at the 9-minute mark. You saw the mineral count. It's about 1,000 now evening out just a little bit for the Protoss. As you see, he does have a number of probes mining off of the natural there. So this expansion, or this proxy position, WhiteRa is giving it his all right now. But it's just not enough, as the Zerg is just continuing with the pressure, getting more Zerglings. Look at that, 20 Zerglings coming down the line right now, and 2 roaches. Those Zerglings have just popped. You see they are speedlings, so they're just going to catch up super quick. WhiteRa realizes this attack is not going to work and will retreat. Did make him spend a lot of resources, though. You see right now, I've already had about 3k spent on each player so far. Units lost, about 59. A lot of that is going to be Zerglings. Got a couple roaches in there as well. About even on the resources lost. WhiteRa lost a little bit more. Not too noticeable, though. That Stalker in the beginning is probably what made the difference. But it's okay. 1 Stalker definitely would not have made that attack successful. As, like I said, Zerg player just very solid in his economy right now. Moving up to maybe make a run at the natural expansion. Oh, but this is a good choke point right here. 2 force fields going down, denying a lot of those Zerglings. Robotics facility will go down, though. Oh, man, he's going to cancel, though. I think, okay, there we go. Last second. Dropping another one there. Going to be getting his expansion going a little bit more with the probes. Good idea. Zerga's probably going to want to get up on another base, though. I'm thinking he does have a drone heading out here. So that one lone square moving around over in this portion of the map. Got to be an expansion. Sure enough, there it goes. As he does work on destroying the destructible rocks, preventing him from quick access to his newly claimed territory. He is working off of both extractors, rather, down here in the natural. Also, both up here in his main. 48 to 50 harvesters. As far as the army goes, you see that Zerg is down just a little bit. He's focusing on his macro right now, his production, just getting up his structures. He's got that hatchery on the way. He's got the hydralisk in, and just still working on the drones a little bit. Also got some roaches coming as well as some upgrades. So got a Stargate coming down here. We did see some VortiX action in game number 1. May look to see that in game number 2. If you can keep those far enough in your back of the army, you can actually do a lot of damage, especially to the Zerglings. If you can get that VortiX charged up first, keep it in the back, shoot the Zerglings, it'll just pop them one after the other, move on to the roaches. You got to watch out, though, because like I said before, Zerg is going to be getting those hydralisks out. They will be very effective in dealing with the Void as long as they have the range upgrade and are able to get in there and, you know, basically just be able to hit them. We'll see if Protoss does a good job of keeping the Zerg at bay. You see, he does have a few more Zealots than he did in game number 1 when he attacked before. The Zealots are key. They do a lot of damage to Hydras, Zerglings, and whatnot. But more importantly, they do keep the enemy at bay. It's your front line of your offense right there. Overseer going to be scouting out here. Oh, man, I'm not sure if I agree with this. Be 100 gas down the drain. It could have dropped a Changeling in there and pretty much done the same thing. Even if it would have died, the Changeling would have made it just as far as the Overseer did. Wouldn't have lost that 100 gas, though. So there goes another scout. Just going to keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, WhiteRa does have his observer down here. Knows what's going on with the army, sees there's no upgrades coming just yet. Do have weapons 1 for the Protoss ground forces. Nothing for the VortiX, however. Not too uncommon. Don't really want to be dumping a lot of money into aerial upgrades if you're not going to focus on that. So he is going to be claiming that tower, knocking off the rocks, maybe looking to get another base. Zerg is going to move out, however. He sees those forces, thinks it's an easy target. Protoss is pulling back here. Couple sentries are in position. Could have some good force fields. Look like they are going to back off of each other, though. Bringing in the pylon first. Going to be able to warp in units very quickly. Wants to be able to defend that right off the bat. You have a Colossus in the field now. That could be a game changer when dealing with the Hydras. There's only 6 of them right now. The economy, however, is looking pretty good for the Zerg player. See, he's running off of 3 bases. Both players are above 1,500 for income. 59 to 64 harvesters. Once this high-yield expansion takes off, it's going to be pretty difficult for VortiX to fight off any sort of attack that comes, because drop down the proxy pylon, and you know, if he just goes balls out with those gateway units, maybe drops down a couple more gateways here. Actually, looks like he needs to turn that one into a warp gate still. Then he could be poised to put a lot of pressure on his opponent, which might actually happen here. There are those zealots, man. Like I said, those are going to be key in keeping the rest of the forces off of the Colossi, trying to pull the Zerg back down into a choking position. The force fields have gone down. So this expansion is going to be in a lot of trouble. Sure enough, the Zerg player does cancel it. So there's one base gone, effectively, for the Zerg player. Protoss moving in to take out base number 2. Evolution Chamber will be going down. Roaches and Hydras are going in position. Force fields are going down, blocking off a lot of those units. There are Corruptors, however. They are coming into the field right now. Will they be able to take out the Colossi? I do think so. A lot of these Stalkers are just focusing on the Roaches and the Hydras. You don't really see any of them firing at the Corruptors, which is a good thing. You want them taking out the ground forces here, because once you establish the ground dominance, those Corruptors are going to be worthless. Can't turn them into Brood Lords just yet. Don't have that tech. And we see here, Protoss has come out on top. Got some Zealots chasing around the drones. They are running away while the Stalkers hold their ground down here at the bottom. More units are trickling in, but it is just not enough to mount an effective defense. You see actually 2 more units being deliberately run down here. I think this is going to be it for the Zerg player, as he just keeps sending these units down here 1 or 2 at a time. He would not be doing that if he did not think that he could come back from this. The Immortal has gone down. Might have some corruption spent on the Stalkers here, but we got more Stalkers here. And might have some more on the way pretty soon. We do have some more units. You can see what's going on in the production tab right now. Protoss is definitely holding his ground, though. There's the GG from VortiX. So WhiteRa taking game number 2 here. We are now 1-1, so let's go on to game number 3 and see who's going to take this series and move on to the next round.